Hello? Your Health is Calling, where holistic health meets practical solutions for your well-being. With your host, speaker, New York Times bestselling author, Sue Kostyk, a seasoned holistic health practitioner and longevity coach. Join Sue each week to embark on a journey to uncover the root causes of your health concerns. Through a personalized approach, learn how to decode the messages your body is sending and craft natural protocols to address them. Call in live at 888-994-4995 Studio A.
Good morning and welcome to Hello, Your Health is Calling. So happy September. We are plugging a way through almost to the fall. It's still extremely warm in Phoenix, Arizona, but I am hopeful. So September is going to be the month of shows all around longevity. And I have talked over the last several podcasts about gut health, about, what it means to be healthy and how we can use our health to kind of thwart the aging process. And so that's what this is going to be all about. September also happens to be my birthday month. So I got super interested in longevity. Probably about a year ago. I've always been very interested in gut health, and I'm a integrative health practitioner, which we focus on gut health. We focus on root cause of why you're having the symptoms you have. So longevity is very near and dear to my heart. My mother had Alzheimer's, her mother had Alzheimer's, her sister had Alzheimer's. I should actually say they were diagnosed with Alzheimer's. We really are still investigating a lot. There's a lot of research still out there about brain disease and Alzheimer's, but that seems to be one of the biggest thing on people's minds is when you talk about aging, is your cognitive decline. And I started studying about longevity and health for longevity versus health for transformation. I came across a quote this morning, actually, and it actually is quite perfect. And it says, "Your health is not a hobby. Healthy people invest wisely in their training, nutrition, and recovery, and know that it's the smartest investment of time, money, and energy, or it's their lives." So this really goes hand in hand what I'm going to be talking about today as well, because investing in your growing in your health journey, living the life that you want to. If you are listening and you are young in your 20s, 30s, and 40s, whatever you do today is going to affect what happens in 20 years to your body and to your health. And that's one of the concepts that I really, really try to bring home. So much of the time is that everything we're doing now is going to affect us in 20, 30, 40 years. So, you look at centurions, if you study the longest living people on the planet, they all have certain habits that they all have in common. Now, there's 5 blue zones, and the blue zones are where the longest living people on the earth live, but they don't all have the same habits. They have a lot of similarities, but a lot of their habits do cross over. So we're going to be talking about those things a little bit over the course of the month. To introduce the show today, I'm going to be talking about the reasons why we age and what happens as we age internally. We look in the mirror and we see more wrinkles and our hair loss and perhaps some muscle loss, but what's really going on internally as we age, and what are the things that we did earlier in our life that are actually speeding up the aging process? Just because you are possibly in your 60s, 70s, or 80s does not mean that you can't make some changes today that are going to help you even in the future months to come. So our bodies are miraculous. As I've always said, we are created to survive. That is the only thing that our body does. It survives, and it will do things in order to survive. So when we're younger and we tend to think that we have, mortality forever and ever and ever, we do some things that probably aren't the best, but our bodies can, they can, recover quickly, and they can just kind of move on from different things that we do to abuse our bodies. But the damage is being done on the inside that you don't see. So that's what I want to talk about today is, why do we age, and what are the things that contribute to aging? And then we're going to go through, the things that we can do right now to kind of combat those aging symptoms. So we're going to go to a break, and when we come back, we'll just start diving into the reasons why we age and what some of those things are that we can maybe do a little bit better with. So we'll be back shortly.
Hello? Your health is calling. Feeling bloated, low on energy, dealing with hormone imbalances? Integrative health coach Sue Kostyk is here to assist you. Reach out to Sue for practical health solutions guided by her professional training as a holistic coach. Sue specializes in identifying the underlying causes of health issues and restoring balance. Don't let your health concerns impact your well-being. Contact Sue Kostyk today at 917-362-5176 or via email at sue@symmetryhealthandwellness.com, and take the first step towards a healthier, happier you.
You've been watching Hello, Your Health is Calling. Join me as we dive into the realms of longevity, nutrition, stress management, and toxin removal, all without the use of harsh pharmaceuticals. And now, back to the show.
Welcome back. So we are going to dive into the reasons why we age, and how certain things affect our aging, and perhaps what we can do to just help the aging process, because obviously everyone's going to age. There is no way we can get around it, but there are things that we can do to age gracefully and to live a long, healthy life and enjoy, things. You don't want to be that 80-year-old that can barely walk across the street, or that, all of a sudden has type 2 diabetes, or, some kind of arthritis and things. So let's talk about, number one, some of the things, the reasons why we change. Now, I have a ton of notes, so I'm going to be looking at them from time to time. I just want to let you know, because I don't want to miss anything. So one of the biggest reasons for aging, and it's just the normal way that our body works, is our hormone decline. And, when you're young, you don't think about hormone health. You just kind of go through your life, and these things happen, and you're like, oh, it's my hormones, but what happens is, our hormones regulate our growth, our metabolism, our reproduction, and our immune response. So many people, when we start talking about hormones, they immediately go to the sex hormones, the estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. But there's other hormones that are very vital, just in our day-to-day activities. It's the cortisol that gives us energy. And, as we age, we start to see health-related problems. And typically, the lower the hormones go and the more disrupted our hormones are, we start to see these problems. We start to see a reduction in muscle mass. We start to see our bone density going down. And, it's like our muscle mass goes down, our bone density goes down, but yet then we start gaining body fat, because this is the protection mode that your body goes into to protect itself. And when especially these two things start to happen, this is when it starts to lead to age-related disease. And, You go to a conventional doctor, and I hear so many times, well, at your age, and it's just, I just want to throw something at them when they say that, because it's just offensive. And when your thyroid hormone is extremely important in every process of our life. And as we age, that thyroid hormone goes down. And so it also changes up your metabolism. So, especially for women, we see a huge decline in thyroid hormone as you age, and that's when women who are perimenopausal and postmenopausal, they start to get that extra body fat because the thyroid hormone is declining. And then, you know, the reasons why hormones start to decline so rapidly in some women is because of stress. And it's going to be hard to kind of stay on one path here this morning, but I'm going to really try. So, stress really, really causes a lot of hormone dysfunction. And so when our thyroid hormones start to decline, that affects our metabolism. It affects our adrenal function. It affects our ability to, you know, have our immune system work well. So, the hormones, not only your estrogen, progesterone, testosterone that are important, but also your cortisol and your thyroid hormone are super important. And those start to decline as we age as well. We start to have cardiovascular issues. Our cholesterol starts to go up. I feel like I'm giving you a lot of bad news, but there's going to be good news at the end. Don't worry. Our cholesterol goes up, our skin thins, our hair starts to fall out, we start to have cognitive decline, and, our immunity is just getting more weakened. So I think that in all, like, the really big reasons why we start to see more of an aging response is because our hormones are so imbalanced and on the decline. And so let me stick back a little bit to about what we can do at any age for hormones. Even if you are postmenopausal, your body will still produce the hormones that it needs if it is in a healthy state, if it is in a state of balance. So, if even if you've had a full hysterectomy, your liver, your fat cells, they will all still produce hormones given the fact that you are healthy. So, this is why a lot of women, even when they go on hormone replacement therapy, they're not getting the results that they want because it's not a compatible replacement. Your body doesn't run out of synthetics and pharmaceuticals. It runs out of something that's natural. So, in another module, we will go through different things that you can do. But the bottom line truly, truly is that your body is in balance. And so part of integrative health is really finding out where those imbalances are through functional lab testing. And we dive really super deep into your own personal blood work so that we can see where those imbalances are, and get your body rebalanced so that your body is producing the hormones that you need. In your 40s, 50s, 60s, well, let me eliminate the 40s because people still have babies in their 40s. But when you get into that perimenopause and postmenopause, you don't need as many hormones because you're not reproducing, but you do still need a good balance of hormones. So figuring out what your personal balance is super important. So that's your hormones. And, if you have any questions or want to pursue lab testing to test your hormone balance, please send an email to support@helloyourhealthiscalling.com, and we'll get you set up and we can figure out what tests you need to do. But, that's really the number one thing is as we age, our hormones decline. So really the number two thing is our inflammation levels. You know, everything goes hand in hand. Our hormones start to decline, our inflammation levels go up. It's the way it is. And, inflammation, a certain amount of inflammation is important because it will signal your fight or flight. It will start to let your body know that it needs to heal from an infection or an injury. So a little bit of inflammation is important. But when we start to have that chronic, low grade inflammation, that is when it leads to disease. So let's step back to science. Probably middle school, maybe your freshman year, you learned about mitochondria. And mitochondria is what is critical in your energy production. And so when we start to have really chronic inflammation, it damages that mitochondria. And this is when it leads to disease because our mitochondria is what gives our cells the energy. And when our energies doesn't have when our cells don't have the energy to be healthy and to produce energy, that's also when it leads to a lot of age-related things. And unfortunately, our poor diets, our bad nutrition, viruses, toxins, chemicals, again, stress, there's that word. I'm going to use it over and over again because it is a super number one reason why we are in the state we're in is our stress that we don't manage. And when our mitochondria are not healthy and producing energy, that's when we get that fatigue and that weakness. So when we age and our cells aren't reproducing as much as they were when we were younger, and our mitochondria aren't producing the energy, then we get that fatigue and we get that weakness. You hear so many older people say, "Oh, I'm just tired all the time." Well, it's because your cells they're not getting the energy that they need. And so 9 times out of 10, it's that inflammation that is causing that. And, our if our cells aren't producing the energy, then it's going to activate our immune system. And low grade inflammation activates the immune system. It tells us that there's something going on. But if it's constant, if there's no management of it, remember way back when we went through the de-stress protocol. And again, if you want any replays of these, go to YouTube. It's the Reinvented Life Network. Hello, Your Health is Calling. You can go back and we did I don't know how many weeks we did on the de-stress protocol. And that's really the number one thing that you can do right now if you want to dip your toe into longevity is go back and listen to those and start implementing some of those strategies that we talked about, because low-grade chronic inflammation is going to lead to Alzheimer's. It's going to lead to diabetes, and it's going to lead to cardiovascular disease. And those are three of the top causes of death. So we want to make sure that we're giving our bodies nutrition, we're exercising, we are taking supplements, because there is no way that you can get the nutrients and the minerals from our food anymore. And you want to make sure that you're keeping your body in balance because you don't want that chronic inflammation. And it's low grade, it's sneaky. It will sneak up on you. You will be moving right along with life, and all of a sudden you're going to start having symptoms. And this is why when you have symptoms, don't ignore them. That's why I love the name of this show, because hello, your health is calling. When you start to have a symptom, it is your body telling you that something is going on and you need to figure it out. And so, again, an email to support your health at helloyourhealthiscalling.com. We can figure things out. Everything is figure outable. The root of all things is your gut health. So again, if you want to just dip your toe in this longevity thing, you know, get your gut right, lower that inflammation. You know, it's at the root of every form of disease and age relating issues in the body and in the brain. Brain health is super important. I cannot stress it enough. So, you know, like I said, a little bit of inflammation, good. Too much is going to start causing that disruption. Um, you know, another thing that really contributes to our aging is toxin accumulation. Our toxic load is getting so bad that you know, when I first started doing this podcast, I was saying that there were 77,000 chemicals, man-made chemicals, and of those, only 100 have been really truly tested, whether they're safe or not. That statistic has been revised. It is now 138,000. So we are truly against the 8 ball. And toxin accumulation is one of the biggest causes of cellular damage and inflammation. I liken our bodies to a rain barrel. When we just keep piling toxin upon toxin upon toxin and don't do the things we need to do to detoxify our bodies, it starts to overflow. And then we have toxic overload, and then we have gut issues, and we start to see symptoms of, inflammatory disease. And, you know, our brain function, we can't function with toxins in our body. A lot of people suffer from brain fog and fatigue and things like that. And that is really due to our toxic overload. The metabolic waste just builds up. It has no place to go. And so our liver just kind of stores it in our body in fat cells. So really paying attention to your toxic load. I did a whole segment on toxicity and talked about the things that you can do to support your liver, and just make sure that you have room, that your rain barrel isn't overflowing. And there's a lot of age-related decline and age-related disease that prolonged toxic accumulation starts to cause. So that is another big reason why when we age, you know, it's not, well, at your age this happens. It's, well, there's an accumulation of so much stuff that your body can no longer handle it. So functional medicine detoxes, I do those all the time with my clients. It's another way to kind of dip your toe into longevity, because it is recommended that we do functional medicine detoxes, which is not a bowel detox. It's a cellular level liver detox, that you do it every 3 months, 6 months at the most, every 6 months, so that you can give your liver that break and it can really do its job and start to clean out your system. So moving on, another reason why we age, why there's age-related issues, is our mental and emotional stress load. And, you know, I don't think we give this one enough credit, because there's so many effects on our cognitive, our mental ability due to emotional and mental stress. Emotional stress and mental stress, if it is prolonged, it starts to create changes in your hormones. So we're going to circle back to one of the number one reasons why we age, and that is hormone decline. And it also goes hand in hand with our emotional and mental stress, because, as I said in many, many other podcasts, our bodies are only meant to survive, and we will rob Peter to pay Paul. That is how it works. And so if we have too much cortisol, which is our fight or flight hormone, it helps us to get out of danger. But when we sit in that too long, then that leads to hormone imbalance, because we're going to, we're going to use up the energy to create more cortisol, and we're going to shut down our reproductive system and our digestive system so that we can just keep staying in that fight or flight. So when we have way too much cortisol and we sit in that emotional stress too long, then we start having cellular damage, which again goes back to the mitochondria damage, our energy, the fatigue. It's called oxidative stress. And when I talk to clients that are in very high stress jobs or life situations, managing your mental stress is one thing, but then when it starts to affect your internal well-being, then we call that oxidative stress. And you can kind of liken it to rust, because what is rust? It's oxidation. So literally we're rusting out our bodies. And we start to see things like cognitive decline. And it literally, oxidative stress, just like rust, it literally alters the structure of something. So I can't stress enough that stress management, use that, stress management, how important it is to our aging process. I shared earlier in the show that my mother had Alzheimer's, or was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. Um, she was extremely healthy. She passed away when she was 82, but I guarantee you she did not look older than 62. She was healthy. She ate extremely healthy. She exercised. She went to Silver Sneakers all the time, but she lived a very stressful life. And I truly believe that that was probably the reason why the Alzheimer's just progressed. Because it does, the stress does alter the function of your brain, it alters your cognition. So, those are the things that are really the top reasons why we age, and why some people age more gracefully than others, because they've managed to find the secret and the balance to aging. And it's never too late. It really is not. There are people who have never exercised a day in their life and started in their 70s. And they're in their 90s now doing marathons. I mean, it's crazy. There are so many people later in life that found diet, that found exercise, that are just prolonging their lives, and they're living into their hundreds. So, you don't want to live into your hundreds if you are bedridden and you don't have your mind. So that's why this month we're going to be talking about all the things that you can do to make sure that you enter into later life, into your older years, very gracefully, that you're full of energy and vitality. You can do the things that you did when you were in their 30s, and it's quite possible. And I'm going to have a guest on in a couple weeks that is going to talk about his journey through a devastating health issue. But because of the fact that he was obese, he turned his health around, and his healing was sped up because of the fact that he was very healthy and balanced. So I hope this has been helpful. If you ever have any questions, please reach out to me, support@helloyourhealthiscalling.com. You can obviously call into the studio with questions. Find me on YouTube, find the back podcast that we've done over the course of the last several weeks. But I urge you to pay attention. And if your health is calling, please listen and please answer. The answers are there. Your body is miraculous and can heal when given what it needs. So pay attention, answer the call, and come back next week. And we're going to continue this, and I'm going to give you even more things that you can do to age gracefully and have a long, healthy life. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for tuning in to another empowering episode of Hello, Your Health is Calling with Sue Kostyk. Remember, your health journey is ongoing, and we're here to support you every step of the way. If you have any questions, insights, or stories to share, don't hesitate to reach out. You can connect with us on social media or call in live at 888-994-4995 Studio A. Together, we're transforming lives and embracing holistic well-being. Until next time, prioritize your health and remember, your health is calling.